Hello and welcome again to another episode of Spotlight on Home.
Hey guys, how's it going?
That's energy there.
Woo!
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Feeling good?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So this week, we are releasing this November 14th. So we know Thanksgiving is coming up, which is such a fun time of year. And I know for a lot of homeschool moms, it might start to feel overwhelming. Like, how am I going to get school done, but I have all this other stuff too to prep for Thanksgiving. So I wanted to share, what we do the week before Thanksgiving, because we always host. We got married the day after Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And so it's just for us a special time. We enjoy it. And I thought what we'd go over is you can start to incorporate a lot of your Thanksgiving prep as school for your kids and get them involved, no matter how young they are. You can really, if you plan a little bit ahead, that's why we're releasing this now, and just start to get your own juices flowing and see what comes up for you. I think you can have a really fun week next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Count it as school, so you're not missing days because of the holiday. There is an opportunity for a lot of rich learning that can happen during this time of year that is maybe a little bit of a nice break from the textbook and the seat work, and it just and it can happen naturally, and it can actually really be a cool benefit for your family.
Well, we were talking the other day how we've decided or come to realize that Thanksgiving is actually our favorite holiday.
Yeah,
Christmas is always wonderful, and we love Easter, but really, Thanksgiving is kind of the nicest holiday without a lot of the price tag. And
it's not as commercialized.
It's just about us and what
giving thanks to the Lord.
Oh, absolutely. And when if you're as a homeschooler, you're going to get out of this as much as you put in, and how engaged you are. And you might find out that you may find Thanksgiving to become one of your more favorite holidays especially after this, because you're having a holiday with intent.
Yeah.
It's like a big deal.
And it's fun too, I think, once the kids start to get beyond that baby stage and you can really teach them and learn. And I don't know about you, but when I was in school, there's so much I didn't learn. I think when, maybe kindergarten, we made the pilgrim hats and probably sang a little song about it, but that was kind of it. I really didn't know.
It's just pageantry.
Yeah. There's so much I didn't learn. So reading, and I'll share with you some of the books that we read and that we have been reading this month for history, just to kind of rev up to this coming week. There's just so much history there too that I had no idea. So it's become somewhat of a fun thing for us too. Is I think you'll find too, as you homeschool, there's so much you just didn't know, and so you're learning with your kids as you go, and that's really one of the cool things about homeschooling. So just to give you some idea, so this is coming out November 14th, right, which is a Sunday. So there's one full week of school left before Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is not this coming Thursday, it's the following one at the time we're recording this. So this coming week, what we talked about with the kids was I have a little punch list going on in my head of things I want to have done and kind of sorted and organized, not just because of Thanksgiving, but also we're going to be spending a lot more time inside. I want some things decluttered, and I wanted to freshen up some of the paint and get things a little bit more organized. And I don't know, I always find I do spring cleaning in the fall and the spring, or the dead of winter when there's nothing else to do. I'll clean out a linen closet, or I'll clean out a big because it's too cold to go outside. On nice summer days or really warm spring days or beautiful crisp fall days, I don't want to be inside cleaning. I'd rather be outside. So I usually wait and do some deep cleaning when the weather turns and it's a bit colder. So anyway, leading up to this coming week, I kind of had a punch list. So I sat down with the kids and I was okay, Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we host. So we cook and I prep and I try to do as much as possible the day before, so that on Thursday of Thanksgiving, we're not running around like crazy.
Right. As far as even like the potatoes are cut up and
Yeah,
they're in
and
the
I
water
submerge
waiting.
them.
Yeah,
Right,
so-
yeah. So they don't turn brown and they're just waiting. And I dump that water because the water does get cloudy. And then I refresh in the water on Thursday and then start to boil them. But that saves so much prep time too. I make the stuffing ahead of time. I put together all my casseroles except for like the last few ingredients of what I'm making. And then I'll do that on Thursday and then bake them. So everything comes out of the oven freshly baked on Thursday. But a lot of my prep work is Wednesday, and now that we have three
Not
girls,
quite leftovers, but
yeah. Now that we have
It is
three
fresh.
girls, and actually a bunch of my boys too are really into cooking, it's kind of become fun for them too. And so I was just kind of going over with them during our morning time session, like, okay, let's kind of reverse engineer. This is what's coming up on Thursday of Thanksgiving. So the day before, we're not going to be doing our regular school. We'll be prepping and cooking, which it counts as school. And I'll explain some of that in details. But then I'm like, but I do have some painting I want to do. And I want to, take down the shower curtains and wash them. And take the curtains down and get those washed. And, just like freshen up the couch. Take off the couch cushions. Wash those. Like get everything kind of just fresh and back to zero. So we were going over that. And so we just decided next Thursday, this coming Thursday. So today's Sunday. So we'll do regular school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to stop doing regular school Thursday and start going through our my little punch list. But we're going to count it as school. And I'll show you how we do that.
and pay attention to what she's saying. We're gonna do. It's not like I'm gonna do and I'm gonna do. And many times moms will get caught in this. I gotta have this and I gotta have that. I gotta have this. I gotta have that. Well, we're all here to make homeschooling look good. And you have that aunt or that mother or that mother-in-law or this crazy cousin who doesn't thinks you're nuts. The irony. And when you can say, well, this one, look, they did the trim and fixed everything up, and so and so baked this, and it's a beautiful commercial looking pie. Well, no, the turkey, I didn't even touch it this year. Say Mary put it in the oven and stuffed it and everything.
Yeah.
Then they can be like, whoa, they did all this. Well, guess what? That this is real life.
Right.
That's real
These
life.
are skills they'll actually
And
use.
what we're eventually gonna, press here, and I've kind of said it before. Don't just do it. I have a funny saying because like the kids want to help. You already know where I'm going with this, and sometimes I just want to just get it done. And I'm not interested in their brand of help. Jessica used to help me change the oil on my motorcycle. And it was great. I love that she spent so much time with me and she asked great questions, and answer every question to the best of your ability. And if you can't answer it, look it up and until they're sick of hearing you. Just keep doing it. And that's about the engagement. Having a kid peel potatoes, that's going to be more work for you.
Well, yeah, depending on their age and ability. Like that.
No, I'm thinking little guys.
Oh, no.
For moms with the little guys. But you know what? Do it. I say do it. I mean, all right, maybe don't hand them a knife, but let them do some task that but now that you're planning ahead, you're available for this. You can plot that. If it's doing the potatoes or cutting them up and just letting them put them in the pot and then fill the pot with the water, they partook. And then you get to brag that, okay, they put the potatoes in water, no big deal, but you still own that.
Yeah, they'll feel so important.
Yes, and the measuring spoons and the whole thing. Hey, you got fractions. You can write that down in the state's requirement. We did fractions.
Yeah, well, cooking is math,
is chemistry,
it's science. Yeah, it could be budgeting if you send them.
Right.
If you plan out your meal and have a shopping list and have a budget. And
you want to tell them about that?
Oh yeah, so we were like budgeting and finances and like planning a meal and then keeping within your budget, right? Like all those things are legitimate exercises in learning, and it's a life skill. That's something they'll take with them. In fact, our daughter she's in a college program right now where part of they'll earn 3 college credits this year in finance because part of their requirement is they're given a weekly budget and they have to feed the 20 or 30 people for breakfast every morning. They have to get up by 6, plan the meals, go food shopping for them, make sure there's enough, and then, execute and make sure breakfast is ready by 7 a.m., every day. And so by the end of the year, they'll have earned 3 credits in finances. And it's because they were, okay, you have this amount of money that you have, has to be nourishing and nutritious. Here's your budget, make your menu and then go shop for it and then cook it and execute it. And
you can duplicate it week after week.
Yeah. And I mean, that is like a legitimate university offers that as a financial 3 credits in finances. So, if you're thinking, well, I don't know, it's not in a workbook, like it is a totally legitimate, exercise in learning, having them do that. So please don't be worried about that. And then, so, there are, home life skills and social and emotional skills that are so important for your children to learn. How to set a proper table is a life skill, in my opinion.
We're going to do a special video on that. Not this week,
inside
probably.
Our membership, we're
membership
going to have a class on etiquette, how to set a table. And because it's so much fun, but it is something that's kind of a lost art, especially in our chicken nugget finger food age. And don't get us wrong, the kids eat chicken nuggets, but
we're guilty, but I hate it.
We do hate it.
I hate it.
But so etiquette, table manners, where does the glass go? Where does the water thing go? How do you, when you're passing something, what direction does that go in? Where does your napkin go? How do you hold your fork and your knife? And what's proper? All those things are, if your children can sit and eat at your dining room table with confidence, there are so many, there's actual industries now and businesses that cater to people in business, young millennials and now younger, that have no idea how to sit at a table and eat. And now they're at business meetings and business lunches and business dinners that are really important to advance their career, and they don't know proper table etiquette.
They have chicken nugget etiquette, and you can't do that at the high end.
And so, and pizza pockets,
I thought that was cool.
You know what I mean? Like,
I thought that was cool to hear that that's available out there. I mean, I'm a little sad that we've come to that. But there's people out there doing it, and it's a resource, and you can get it. And it is education, and there's a ton of history behind why every single thing is done.
And it's fascinating.
It is
really
actually
is
quite
a lot
fascinating.
Of fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can take time and have a dry run of that. Like, hey guys, we're gonna set the table this Thanksgiving super fancy. So let's practice, and and then do it. But that can count as school. That is totally legit.
Actually, it's funny because we were watching. We try to make everything not just pure entertainment. Let's let it springboard. It's just our natural tendency. But initially, you might have to work at that. So we started watching Downton Abbey, and these people are acting in kind of weird ways. Why do they insist on these waiters and waitresses and footmen and all this other stuff? And so we look it up. And then we got an etiquette book.
Oh, yes.
And we looked into why and how. And it's a little different in Europe than it is in the U.S. and things like that. So, it
is fascinating.
The TV shows you watch, it's not an abolition on TV. I know some people in our circles are like, no TV. Yeah. I'll say no TV. Make sure it's going to cause you to look into things. When I do my podcast, usually it spurs me to read another book or another podcast or something else that makes me learn something.
Yeah, you get down a little rabbit hole.
Yes,
of knowledge,
and
right?
it's great. And even something as silly as Downton Abbey can cause all kinds of
it actually
learning.
did. Like our girls, we've had now tea, and we've done tea service, and we've made it ourselves too, and have gone to etiquette classes, and
got the etiquette book.
And we've taken them online too, and learned all these fun things.
And you're watching the English castle shows.
Right,
I mean, it branches out.
But it is kind of nice knowing, like, okay, my kids can sit with kings and queens.
Oh yeah.
Or peasants, right? Like, it doesn't matter, but they'll be able to carry a conversation, and they'll be able to hold a fork and knife properly, and be able to know how to speak to others politely. And I don't know, it is important. So even that, like, you can branch off and do that. That is actual socialization, right? Like, how to act properly in a social situation. So here's some other things that you could be doing. So, cleaning, organizing, touching up the paint, those could all fall under home economics. Also, like, cooking, the recipes, math and measuring. And one thing that we always do every Thanksgiving is look up, okay, if my turkey is 40 pounds
We have to look it up every single time.
and it's 12 minutes a pound, if it's stuffed, and don't quote me on this, like look it up, but like, okay, so what time do I have to put it in if I want it done by 3? Like, right. I mean, like, you can ask them, like, hey, can you figure this out for me, and give them that's like a math problem that actually will serve them in life. Like, they'll be able to figure that out.
Do it the day before.
Yeah.
And then double check the next day. So
definitely look it up yourself.
Grandma and grandpa and the uncles and cousins are sitting there like,
this is raw.
This is raw or dry as a bone, or, where is it?
It'll be ready at 5 or 10.
Sometimes I'll, Mary likes to cook, and she likes her stuff well done.
Yeah.
And
fire alarm going off well done.
Yeah, and it's black. I just call it tactical whatever, so we don't want to have tactical turkey.
That's true. So. That is so true. So even for reading, Margaret Pumphrey's Pilgrim Stories is a great book. Squanto, Friend of the Pilgrims, that's another. And those are quick reads. Like, you could totally do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and bang that book out really quick. It's not long and super easy. Yeah, you can do Audible, those books on tape. Like, even while you're prepping and cooking, put a Thanksgiving story on of what the Pilgrims went through. And believe it or not,
I enjoy them.
The Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, we'll watch that like on Wednesday after we're done prepping and stuff. But it gives a pretty cool historical background
it's not
to
bad.
it, and so we definitely watch that. And it's kind of like our little reward after cooking and being on our feet all day long. We'll like sit and chill and watch that. There's also one of my favorites, so if you want to consider literature, Louisa May Alcott she's the author of Little Women and Little Men, but she wrote a story called The Thanksgiving Story, and it's a sweet little story. I have read it. My kids are wiggly. And I read it over the course of just 2 days. So it's not epic or hard, but it's not like the history of Thanksgiving, but it is a story about a family at Thanksgiving time and what they do. So it's a really sweet, sweet story. So that is some, like, if you wanted to get in some literature and some history, you can also consider, so for handwriting, you can have the kids writing out place cards, for the people who would be coming to dinner. You can have them write maybe like a thank you card and give it, since it is Thanksgiving, like maybe they can give it to somebody, thankful. Thank you to the police. Thank you to EMS workers. Thank you. You can make like little thankful gifts to maybe the pastor, or maybe, their Sunday school teacher, or do you know what I mean? And like that could be their handwriting project, and, have them make a picture for them or something along those lines for handwriting for your younger guys.
Tell me about the pumpkin one.
Oh yeah, I saw this and I don't remember where. It's like on Facebook, or maybe Instagram, because I'm really not on Facebook that much.
Wasn't Pinterest?
I don't think it was Pinterest.
It sounds like a Pinterest thing, but
it totally is a Pinterest thing. But they took a pumpkin, like just a cute little orange pumpkin, and every day for the month of October or November, they would write down, like with a Sharpie marker, like 1 or 2 things they were thankful for, and then of course, like as the month went on, the pumpkin would get more and more filled, and they wrote it kind of like in a spiral. And so on Thanksgiving, you would have this pumpkin with all these words and all these things that you were thankful for, and then they had it as their centerpiece
that's a cool
for Thanksgiving.
Idea.
And I thought that was a really sweet idea. And I've heard of people, so they had a Thanksgiving tablecloth, and they would have their guests sign the tablecloth, and it would come out every year. So over the course of years and years, cool. Like, great grandma's signature is on it, and you see like family members that might no longer be with you. I thought that was sweet too, nice, right? Yeah. And then you can talk about your heritage and your family tree and where you've come from, and of course, all those things. Or if
you took an ancestry test.
Yeah.
And find out you're adopted.
Yeah, right? You can also have the kids research fun or interesting facts so that they can be conversation starters for Thanksgiving, for the table at Thanksgiving, right. So that's another thing. The kids could be doing research. They could be coming up with interesting conversation starters. So that, again, that would fall like under etiquette and learning how to...
And that falls, again, under socialization.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, but that's actual socialization.
That's actual socialization.
Not,
you know,
not like sitting in a room with
sitting. Yeah, or
kids your
even
age.
if you can. I'm not going to tell you it's absolutely necessary, and I know it's super practical. If you can, try not to have a kids table.
Well, right. No, I get
I know.
I get
I know.
it. No, I
You
get
sometimes
it.
you just because. Well, we
Well,
have
we
enough
just don't
adults.
have enough room,
we simply don't
but-
have enough room.
But we actually do. Everybody does kind of
But
sit
as early
at
as
once.
possible, we encourage them to come to the adult table
Yeah.
because I refuse to say that you're just a child. You know,
Right.
I've seen situations where the 20-year-old is sitting at a kid's table. No,
Right.
you're not.
Yeah.
You're an adult, and you should hear what we're all talking about.
Right.
My eyes, I wear my glasses, and all the what pills I'm on. All that stuff. You should hear that.
You.
She should hear it. They should hear it anyway because.
That's so funny.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of a drag to hear. But, it might turn their heart to their elders.
Oh, sure.
Look at, they're aging. They're not going to see that at 15, 16, 17, maybe
Right.
20. But, the next group up, 25, 30, they're here and it's like, the hill, the one you go over. There is a point, and you makes them aware of their mortality. And these are the good old days. While they're here and while they're still signing the table, and that to me is a big deal. I like that stuff. I had an extremely small family. I was the only adopted child of two only children. So, it was pretty quiet. And when people come, it was like a big deal for us. And, I went to her house and
It was chaos.
it was busy
But
all
I
the
like
time.
that. See, I
Yeah.
like that. It's probably why we have so many kids. Because I do
Yeah.
like the hustle and bustle of
Yeah.
the thing. I didn't like it quiet. It was uneasy. Like, wow,
love it.
everybody's talking to me. I couldn't just hide.
Well, that's it.
I couldn't just get lost in the crowd.
I don't encourage the hide.
Yeah.
Don't encourage it. We
That's
have.
because you're extroverted, though. I'm introverted.
I suppose so. We have introverted hiders. Sometimes, hey, thanks, stay there. It's fine. But most of the time, no, because I
No,
want
it's
you.
true. You're
I
right.
want you there. I want to put my arm around you, and I want you to see. And is it all perfect? No, it's not. You got crazy so and so over here and this yapping on about politics or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Somebody maybe had a little too much and they get ranting on.
It's good times.
But they have to see that too. You have to know how to handle an out of line uncle.
Yeah.
These things are all part of that. So
Sure.
I love, it is my favorite. Absolutely my
Yeah,
favorite.
I do like it. So another thing could be, one of the things we did years ago, and this is not stuff we do like every single year. I'm just trying to like pull ideas like of what we have done or just like what I've seen done. But one thing we did a few years ago was I got glass votive candles, and I had we went around and looked for like the prettiest trees in the area, and he would get out and like run and grab some leaves, like bright orange ones, like the prettiest ones I could possibly find, the
It
brightest,
was a
vibrant
particularly good
colors.
year. This year is
Yeah,
terrible.
this year wasn't that awesome. But then, so we took decoupage and like glued decoupage the leaves to the outside. Yeah, it was decoupage. And then we did that onto the outside of the votive, and then inside we just put one of the tea lights that are they're the
Not
electric
fire.
or battery powered ones. But it was so pretty, and it's still like we still use
And
them,
I'll
and the
tell
kids
you,
are like, oh, I remember doing that.
Those are more than a couple years ago.
It was
The
10. Right
10
when
to
we first
12
started.
years ago.
It
Oh,
had
yeah.
So much more energy.
So much more.
We were younger.
But
and
I'll tell you what, those colors on those things
They're-
are still vibrant
that's
because
true.
they're like encased in glue.
Yeah,
And
they are pretty.
that was for some reason a little project that I always like made me, give me that warm heart feel.
Yeah.
And there's still a couple of them
Right.
kicking around. I don't know where they are right this minute,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're
No, they're in the
they're in the box
fall
ready to
thing.
go.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so like that's one thing. Now, if like I wouldn't really like my 2-year-old. Obviously, I'm not going to let him decoupage, but
Good grief.
we could. Yeah, that would be a mess. But we could like gather leaves just as well, and this could be count as science. Like go for a nature walk, find the prettiest leaves, and then come home and classify them.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could take wax paper and put the leaves on the wax paper, fold the wax paper or put another sheet of wax paper on top, and then take a hot iron. You probably would want to do this, and then iron that, and so the wax would melt to it, so the leaves are kind of in there, and that could be, if you cut them to certain sizes, like that could be your placemats.
Right, you could put a border on it or whatever.
And, or cut them, and that could be like the charger on your plate if you wanted it to look fancy. But like your kids did it, and so like that gives them something, also a conversation starter. Oh yeah, this leaf, this one here, I had to look this one up because I found it, and it's this. And oh, this leaf here, this is an oak leaf, and oh, this one's a maple leaf. See the 5 points, and it gives them ownership of some of it, and it'll stick with them because it's not just memorizing it.
Right.
Like it's a real tangible thing.
They did something with it. It impacted the family. And also it's another moment for the sort of the bragging rights. Say, oh, little Tommy did this, the placemats for the whole family, and everybody's going to ooh and ah. And, did the public school do that? Do they get to have that power in the home to do that for their family, with their family? I don't know. It's invaluable to me. So.
Yeah. So I think like if you just, use this as a springboard, obviously not a to-do list. Like the last thing we want to do is add a burden onto you. No. These are just ideas. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed and you just want to put the books away because you have to focus on Thanksgiving, like use these ideas to like
Did you say your schedule already?
I think I did. Yeah, so Monday, this coming Wednesday, we're done. Like books are going away, and then from that point on, from that point on, we're just going to be doing stuff. So I have, like I said, I want curtains down. There's just other stuff too, like our deck needs to be winterized and like
scraped and.
Yeah.
Just,
like the leaves that blew onto it. Right. We did a leaf cleanup last week, but there's just always something to be done outside too. But mostly I really just want to turn inside and just start organizing a bit. And
the beauty of this is you're taking the time.
Up some paint.
You're taking the time. Yeah. If you felt the trucking along of homeschooling, there's a whole ton of stuff still to do.
Yeah.
But you can classify all you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
A, it profits the family. B, they're involved. C, it's gonna, there's gonna be a big payoff at the holiday, and then the launch for the rest of the holiday season. So, I mean, they still had a piece of that. The house is in as good a condition as we can get it. Right when we're going to have more company and guests and things.
Yeah, because Thanksgiving really does kind of set off the holidays for us.
And then it finally ends around Mother's Day.
Yeah, but that's true. So, but like that, at least we can, because we always decorate and set up for Christmas. Like I'm chomping at the bit, especially this year. I don't know why. I feel like I'm excited for Christmas too. But I won't decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving because I like the harvest decorations and the oranges and the reds and the yellows. Like I like all that, so I do wait until the day after Thanksgiving, but that next day we decorate for Christmas. And so I figured if we're, like this stuff, I don't know. You might be an awesome housewife. I'm really not. So like, like above the door, like what is it called? Trim?
Yeah, the molding. The trim and the molding. Yeah.
Above like the doors. We'll dust that now. Like things that probably should get dusted way more often than I do. It's like, okay, let's do all those things.
Right.
We'll dust what's the bottom one called?
Molding.
That.
Yeah.
We'll do all that. So when people come over, won't judge as harshly.
I was left yesterday with the boys, and
I had a nice.
You had a great day. I had a great day.
I took my oldest and my other daughter who wasn't feeling well, so she didn't want to come with us, but we took a road trip and visited my daughter, Jess, who's away at college. Mm-hmm. I just needed to see her, and I think she was feeling homesick for us, too. So we just had a girls' trip and just went to a cafe. And I had a boys' day. And we went shopping at a store that reminded me of what Magnolia probably looks like, and I felt like an adult. I needed a day of just with the girls. Like I really did. I came back really refreshed, and it was just for the afternoon. Really, I left at like 10:30.
Yeah, what'd you get home?
Or no, I left at 11. I got home by 8.
Yeah.
So it really was just But I just needed
But
a little bit of a break.
You came home to more writing on the wall.
Yes.
And I was with them every minute until I finally needed to wash. I had to finally shower.
You're not allowed to wash.
I know, I see that.
Not when you have a 2-year-old.
And obviously, the oldest boy was not really the issue. It's the four
littlest.
The four littler ones.
Yeah.
And not even that the oldest one is he's just, a factor. He's always there. And I was like, look, man, you guys tidy up while I had to shave really fast and shower. And it was pretty quick. And man, I come down. Yeah. Man, there were swirls all over the wall, and
even in his belly button.
Yeah.
He
draws in his belly button and everything. And
it's like, ooh.
So that's now on the punch list as well, and that's fine.
I'm glad that happened before we touched up the paint instead of after.
Well, it must have been a dry erase because it seems to come off pretty easy.
Yeah, I guess
it's not a Sharpie.
So. Sharpies are my nemesis.
It's not full on Sharpie.
I hide them.
Even Sharpie can go through a layer of paint when you paint over it. But yeah, so thanks for
joining us.
I'll make this look miserable.
Well, anyway, So if you're new here, head over to Spotlight on Home. You can grab our free PDF, 10 Tips to Start Homeschooling. And it's not just like starting homeschool. It's really to kind of help you write out a vision. So if you're struggling and overwhelmed because you have already started, go grab the PDF. Right. We'll just go into some more details about, how to structure a day or how to choose your why or how to write a vision statement and how to kind of work all that out, and it will help with reducing some of that overwhelm you might be feeling. So it's so much more than just like getting started. It's really like how to homeschool,
proper.
Yeah, like do it from a place of strength, right. Rather than like just always reacting
and support
to chaos. Yeah,
you got it from us. You can talk to us, and we got the Gab site going, and there's going to be people there. We're not the be all end all, but we have been down the road, and we can tell you. We can assist.
Honestly.
We'll really tell you. We'll actually tell you. We're not going to sugarcoat anything,
right?
Because it's not always sweet.
We're in the trenches with you. We know we got
there.
it.
Right.
We understand where you're at. So
Absolutely.
Anyhow, hope you have an awesome week, guys. And even though Thanksgiving's a little bit away, I hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving. And that's it.
Thanks for joining.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Take care.